just continue the track he's on. I mean, Paul Hogan really kind of handles him and has his hands all over it, does a great job with him. But just continue. Don't change anything. I mean, he's a grinder. He's got a plan every day, every week, every month. And so just continue to make that progression and build on what he did. I mean, he'll come into August with sky-high confidence because of what he did this spring. And with Tate and Parks out all spring, it really just allowed him to settle in, and you know, his effort's amazing. Anytime you are a great effort guy, you usually at some point become consistent and confident, and that's what I've seen with Tristan. He's just put great effort in, and his consistency and his confidence is the best it's been since he's been here. So continue to get stronger, continue to on that body composition that he's been working on, continue with his flexibility, continue with his footwork and fundamentals and technique. All the things that he does every day, just keep going. And if he does, he's going to keep getting better.
Coach, we see a lot of programs do ones versus twos in the spring game, kind of trying to build a program up. You had the best versus the best again. Talk to us about your decision-making process.
Yeah, and we usually have a version of that. Usually what we do is if this team gets the left tackle, this team gets the right tackle, this team gets the left guard, and so it's usually pretty much good on good always, even though we split it. But this year, we were just missing some key guys in that defensive line and in the offensive line, and so with a new quarterback, new coordinator, we just wanted to kind of get what we thought were the best 11 on offense and the best 11 on defense of what's available, and then we just kind of broke everybody else up as even as we possibly could. So we tried to put our best 11 on offense and our best 11 on defense, and so it was pretty much ones on ones all day. But like I said, typically we still kind of have that, but we just tried to keep we only had 4 scholarship receivers, so we tried to keep Speck, Cole, and Antonio to just create a little bit of continuity with Cade, and then also, the best that we have in that offensive line. We had a couple guys that we might have kept over, like Trent Howard might have stayed over, but Putnam was in his brother's wedding today, and so he wasn't here, so both of those guys had to snap. So, but it was a good day, a really good day, and Shipley had been able to go on. We'd have had he and Shipley, and then we'd have had probably Keith on the other team. So good work by both groups.
Coach, I asked you at last year's spring game that the incoming freshman class kind of were trial by fire with having to fill in some spots. This year, the freshman class looks like they're on fire just with their performance. How do you describe kind of last year's spring game with the incoming freshman class, early enrollees, and incoming freshmen to this year's as far as talent-wise and just performance on the spring games?
Yeah, well, I think I have to go back and look, but I mean, this is a lot of mid-years. I think it's the most we've had in a while, 15 of them. So a lot of guys, plus Strecco's in here, and then I don't know if Paul Tyson counts in that. I think maybe 17 guys actually. And obviously Paul couldn't go; he was still dealing with the thumb. But you get that amount of guys that are in here, it's just invaluable for them to be able to get the type of work that they got this spring. So I think that bodes well for us. And but we had a bunch of those guys that still yet to be here. I think we got maybe 12 guys coming in the summer, 10 or 12 guys. And there's a lot of dudes that still aren't here, like Ojebwe and Hoffler, and got those 2 big tight ends. We've got 3 receivers, and Tink and Tyler Brown and Ronan coming in here to add on with Bo and Adam and Stellato and Will, who were out all spring. So we got a lot of guys that'll still be showing up that we're excited about. Still got Robert Billings coming in at safety, Strozier, Avion Terrell at corner. I mean, there's a good group of guys that will have a chance. And if you look back at last year, I mean, you saw a guy like Woodaz. He got here in June. A lot of these guys. I mean, so they still got plenty of time to be ready to help our team. But these guys that were here this spring certainly, I think, took full advantage of the opportunity to get better.
You had a very incomplete team on offense. How do you evaluate Cade, how he played today? Obviously some big plays, but a couple of things.
Yeah, well, I mean, he made some great off-schedule plays and extends play. I mean, that's what I love to see. All the rest of it will come together the way it needs to. But a couple tough breaks. I mean, that was a great play by Nate. I mean, the ball's right on the money, and it's we kind of played a little short instead of playing. At worst, it needs to be incomplete, but we were kind of tight to the body, and Nate reached around. Tips are supposed to be picks, and And then what a great, I think Jamal maybe got his hand on the one ball. It was a bang play down there, and Mickens came up one when Cooper came up one. So, but he did a heck of a job. But what you love about him is, man, he can extend. I mean, he can really turn 2.8 seconds into 8-9 seconds, and it's just hard, when you have a guy that can do that when he's really live. But he's had a great spring for sure, a really good spring, and I'm pleased with what we've been able to get in. And so it's being incomplete. Yes, we know that, but we've still been able to get everything installed. We've still been able to lay a good foundation, and it's gonna come together nicely. I really believe that.
Looked like Quadzilla had a fun game.
What's that?
Looked like Quadzilla had a fun game today.
Man, he did. I'm glad y'all got a chance to see him. He's a big, thick kid, but man, he's loose in the hips, and he's got great vision, and he's downhill. He's patient runner. He really understands how to run the ball, and I mean, he can help us. Obviously we got two stallions in Big Phil and Ship, but hey man, how about Phil today? Makuba, that's a lesson from Makuba. You can't knock those big guys down. You gotta wrap them up. No shame in holding on for the cavalry to get there, but I mean we've got some really good weapons there, and Dominique has shown that he can be a very dependable guy for us. And then Keith Adams did some good stuff. So it's good to see those guys, and obviously we'll get Jay Haynes and we'll get Jarvis in here this summer as well, and continue to build that depth.
The players were talking about the freshmen that have come in. They said they've just kind of changed the culture actually, and really brought some energy. Yep. What do you make of them, and what can they provide as you guys kind of take a shift here with the new offense and just taking that next step as your guys' program continues to develop?
Well, I mean, that's just college football. I mean, you have turnover every year, and that's why it's so important that you recruit well, and not just you're not just getting talented players, but you're getting the right players and guys that fit your culture, guys that are going to be guys that love football. I mean, I think that's the one thing. These guys love football. The one thing about this class that we just signed, it's probably the closest signing class that maybe we've brought in. And when I say close, I'm talking about these guys were truly group chat, all that stuff, all year. I mean, just unbelievably close group. And I've seen that just carry into, everything they've done this spring. They're about their business. These guys came here to win a national championship. I mean, that's just, and I love that about them. They have high goals. They believe in themselves. They're really talented. They all have good self-awareness and know that they have a lot of work to do. They're eager to be coached. They're incredibly coachable, and that they really do listen. I mean, they've responded in all the areas of the program. So when you have a group that's talented like that, it's really just full of energy and bought in, because there's strength in numbers. A lot of them. I mean, it's not like 3 guys showed up here. It's 15 guys, and these are high-level dudes, but they're high-level people. And man, you can't help but grab some enthusiasm from that, and it's very contagious. So it's been fun.
It says a lot about your older guys too, though, that they can see that.
Oh yeah.
And embrace it rather than be like, listen, pipsqueak,
No.
because that kind of stuff can happen too in a locker room. And so it says something about the guys you also have in the locker room too.
Absolutely, and that's just the culture that we have here. I mean, you got guys like Tyler Davis. I mean, you got 7 of those guys who came back for 5th and 6th years that, for extra eligibility, and game knows game. Bull crappers know bull crappers as well, and so these guys, this is a mature group. We've got it's a good mixture of some really savvy, experienced dudes, and some really just eager, enthusiastic, young, talented guys that just can't wait to go compete. And the one thing about those young guys is they haven't come in here with an arrogance. They haven't come in here with a this mentality that hey, they're supposed to play or whatever. They've just jumped in line, but they don't take a back seat to anybody, and that's what I like about them. And they're just this group. There's a lot of natural leaders in this group, and these older guys that have been in this program, they know who we are, and they respect that. So it's really good. It's not just that group. I mean, that sophomore group, like a guy like Cade. I mean, those guys, they see that, and then that junior group, Shipley, Maffa, Trotter, Carter. That's a pretty good group. All through there as well. Rennie, it's a talented group, but a bunch of guys that I think, got some good leaders in there.
Do you like how your second team offensive lines are sometimes move those guys off the ball a little bit?
Yeah, it was fun. You know, they're out there competing. And again, I think we only had 4 D tackles in the game today. So Peter Woods had to play about every snap, every team. But, you know, they did a really good job, you know, and it was fun to see Dominique in particular, you know, kind of find some of those gaps and you know, punish some of those tacklers. But, you know, though, I thought for the most part, I'm anxious to watch the tape because, again, especially with the young guys, and see how, you know, guys like Big Zach, Big Ian, he had to miss the last scrimmage, so to get him back. Mitchell Mays had to miss a little time. This was his first scrimmage since we got back from break as well. So, good to see a lot of those guys getting some good work.
With spring done now, what kind of unanswered questions or concerns do you have that you want to get resolved, you know, in the fall?
We just got to get healthy. We got to get everybody back. That's the biggest thing. Just get complete. And we're not far from there. I mean, you know, again, everybody that's been out has been just lingering stuff and postseason stuff that, like, Root could probably play today. And I asked him that. I said, how do you think? He said, I can play today. And I mean, that's great. You know, so if we were starting spring ball next week, he probably would have had a different deal. But the timing of things and where we are, you know, like J. Lou, we knew we had to do surgery on him, but he got 7 practices in, and then we did the surgery because we wanted to get half of it in. You know, Sheridan, JP, Venables, I mean, Trey, Rook, you know, XT. We got a lot of guys. You know, Adam, Bo, Solano. So they're all doing really, really well. And so that's the main thing. Just complete our team so that we can go put it all together on the field.
Just to clarify on Venables, what's the reason he's been out?
He's just hammy. He's just been battling that hamstring.
And Miles Oliver, is that
That was man, probably, I don't know, first week of spring. He was a spring injury, but you know he'll be back at some point. But he was a early spring. I think he might be him and we had a walk-on kid that got hurt. But they are only major spring injuries.
Because Peter Woods, we talked a lot about him. If he's a plug-and-play guy, how close is Violent Green to being somebody who could be in that mix?
Not far. You know, he's not ready to play multiple positions yet, like Peter. And I think Peter can play anywhere. Literally, I think he can play end. I think he can play 5 technique. I think he can play 3. I think he can play nose. I think he can play anywhere, and I think mentally he's ready for that. Steph Island is explosive. He loves football. He's tough as they come, and you know, but he's still you're grabbing on to the totality of the defense. You know, that's probably the biggest difference right now. It's just I think Peter's a little bit more, you know, could go play. And you know, Steph body type wise can do some of those things, but I think we just got to continue to bring him on a little bit from a scheme standpoint.
Anything else?
All right.
Are you the wrap-up person here?
I like it. Wrap it.
I deputize, Coach.